Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. It's Mailbag Monday. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. Subscribe to that YouTube page for us. Podcasters, make sure you're following or subscribed on every podcast app you own. If you don't own it, download it and subscribe there too. And leave us 5-star reviews wherever they're available, but especially Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So we got a 1-star review this week because we're too positive about Connor Bedard.
What?
Yeah. So, you know, haters gonna hate. So you got to offset the haters with some love. So those 5-star reviews, very, very helpful.
It's been a long 15 years for that listener.
That makes my brain hurt.
I also saw a review that was a 1-star review that said, great insight, would recommend to everyone.
They got their ones and fives mixed up.
Hit the wrong button.
So we need you to offset the morons when the Canucks fans and the Predators fans and the Red Wings fans and everybody come in and act like jagweeds on our reviews.
They're not worth a pud whack.
All y'all need to jump in there and help us out with those 5-star reviews. So put aside 30 seconds for us and do that for us. We would greatly appreciate that. It is a very easy way to help our podcast succeed. We would really appreciate that. So
I'm too positive about the best draft pick that they've ever had.
Right.
Shucks.
All right. He sucks.
Darn.
I think the actual quote was, these guys would drink the sweat off of Connor Bedard's jockstrap.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah?
What's wrong with that?
So?
You need water.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to stay hydrated. I don't know what the problem is.
better than drinking the sweat off the jockstrap of Colin Blackwell.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, if you're gonna do it for a good player.
I suppose so. All right, should we tear open our bursting sack? I think we should. We're going to start with
Speaking of jock
very
strap,
A lot of words
a lot of
happening.
sex. Yeah.
that's a great way to start a month.
We always start the show with our Discord users, as they are our verified diehards. So that's what we're going to do today. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do it. You don't have to wait till Mailbag Monday. We're on Twitter at CHGO_Blackhawks and Threads, RIP almost, on life support. Email blackhawks@allchgo.com. And, of course, our members-only Discord. What?
So the blue sky is a lot more cloudy than it used to be.
So do you want to start with our Discord, or do you
Yes,
want to
sir.
start with the
Yeah.
headline of the
Let's
show?
start with the Discord.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
knock those out, and then we'll get to the headline of the show, which we failed to do a couple Mailbag Mondays ago.
Whoops.
Keep our
Yeah.
ducks in a row. Shout out to the diehards. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Well, we need to know just how much we're drinking the blood, sweat, and tears of Connor Bedard. Kayla asks, how many goals do you think Connor Bedard is going to score this upcoming season?
Connor. I think Connor Murphy is going to score 3 goals this year.
Whoa.
Yeah, Connor Murphy, what's his career high? Like 5 or 6?
I think 5, yeah.
I think he gets 4. I'm going to say 4.
I'm sure that's who she meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Connor Murphy.
Bedard,
Murphy.
in the many conversations we've had about him and over a cup of his jock sweat, I think we've kind of established that 70, 75 points is a seemingly realistic benchmark for him as a rookie, and given the roster that's going to be around him. I think 31 of them will be goals.
I think 31 is 30 and a half is a really great number to set
Over,
if you're
under.
DraftKings.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
And I will say slightly over.
Yeah.
Just based on opportunity, line mates, ice time, power play. He'll probably be on a penalty kill at some point.
Yeah.
I think that
be.
he's going to have every opportunity to score that he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go crazy. Like, part of me wants to temper my expectations, say like 29, which would still be a fabulous
which is
rookie
still good.
season.
So you're saying he's a bust?
Total bust. I'm done being positive with him. I want that 5-star.
I just put my 1-star review.
I'm shilling my soul for that 5-star review. He stinks. He's going to score 2 goals. Connor Murphy's going to have more.
They're going to send him back to Regina.
I want to temper my expectations, but then, as you just said, he's going to be on the ice a lot. He's going to be top power play. He's going to be top line. Anytime they're down a goal, he's going to be out there. He's going to be the guy jumping over the boards on extra attackers. If I I expect him at some point to be on the penalty kill. I mean, he's defensive enough, not right off the bat, maybe later in the year.
Maybe, yeah.
But there's a chance for him to score a couple goals, use his speed and his shot on the
Yes.
That's been the trend across the league, is putting a talented guy out there to try and get a shorthanded goal.
Also,
Mitch
say what-
Marner plays,
Yeah.
Alex DeBrincat, we saw him a lot for the Hawks.
Say what you want about the Blackhawks roster. Connor Bedard is the best player on the team.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
There's not much doubt about it,
That's
at
not-
least offensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and defensively, I think he'll be in the conversation.
Yeah.
He'll be, so
Someone has to score.
all that being said, I'm going to go with, I want to temper my expectations. I don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, feel disappointed, but I'll go 33.
33.
All right,
33.
Yeah.
I'm saying 32.
I mean, look, we talked with Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects a number of times about Connor Bedard, and he, not right away in his rookie year, but he said there's really no reason that we shouldn't expect at some point throughout his career Connor Bedard could put up 50, maybe even 60 goals. I don't think it's going to happen right away, but he has that kind of shot and that kind of talent. So,
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah.
As the newest Blackhawk fan at
You are?
CHGO, I am.
Oh, welcome.
I'm jumping on this year
He's on
in
the ride.
support
Hop
of the team.
Good timing.
here at CHGO, and I'm jumping on the bandwagon here this year. I didn't jump on for the dynasty, probably my fault. That's what I wanted to ask you. What do great hockey, talk to me like I'm 5 years old. What do the best hockey players score a year?
Anything over 30 goals is really good.
Over 30 is good. Over 40 is
Elite.
is pretty darn elite. And if you can put up 50 goals,
Special.
You're a special.
What
goal
did
scorer
Sidney
player.
Crosby do his rookie year?
That's
The game was a little different then,
yeah.
so it's I would think the if you're looking to compare rookie seasons, I think Austin Matthews would be more probably what you're looking for in terms of comparisons to Bedard, because the game was a little different when Crosby came in. Just so you know, though, so 50, if you score 50 goals, you're at one point in your career you're considered elite. 50 is okay, this guy is an elite goal scorer. He scored 50 once, is almost a talking point with Hall of Fame arguments, with all those sort of things. Just so you know, last year Connor McDavid scored 64 goals.
Wow.
And that led the league.
It was and we've had 2 60-goal scorers in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah. Which hadn't happened
is rare.
forever.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have 6 in back-to-back seasons, because since the 05 lockout, only prior to the last 2 seasons, only 2 guys had cracked 60, Ovechkin and Steven Stamkos.
So Nate Krumpos in the chat is saying 100 points for Crosby. I don't know if he's referencing his rookie
His rookie
season.
year, yeah,
And
he was-
No Roids just right says, and Crosby was also playing with legends when he was a rookie.
Yeah,
so that's
they-
Some guy named Mario Lemieux was his line mate for the
Yeah.
rookie season.
Okay.
The,
That
Pen-
helps.
the Penguins went a different route when they got Crosby. We need to go all in and get him guys now.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of guys. Whereas the Blackhawks went and got Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, Corey Perry. Not necessarily the same
They'll help,
route.
but not to the
They'll
level
help,
that-
but
yeah.
not to the same
I think
level.
Bedard will have one stretch where he's just going to be scorching white hot, where he's going to score 12 goals in 10 games or something like that, and that's going to help. He may have some. If I had to be a betting man, I'd say he'd get a couple early, and then the league adjusts, and he kind of struggles for 8 or 9 games, and all of a sudden he hits it, and he gets that hot streak in the middle of the season, where all of a sudden, and then he tapers off.
I also will say, while we're sort of tempering expectations, if he was approaching 100 points, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise
as a
me.
rookie.
yeah.
I mean,
He's going to be playing with decent players.
I think we're all trying to be very level-headed about it, because all of us, and in our fandoms, are he's going to put up 100, and believe it. Part of me believes he could have 100 points this upcoming season. Part of me believes that, but part of me wants to be rational and say, not get my hopes up and be well, if he doesn't have 100 points, I'm going to feel stupid. No.
Nah.
There is a portion of the pie chart of me as a Blackhawks fan that says Connor Bedard can put up 40 goals and 100 points.
I would be far more surprised if he only gets 50 points than I would be if he gets over 100.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. I agree.
That would be
100%.
far more surprising.
All right.
And on that note, on the Bedard wrap-up, there was one guy that I want to target in all my fantasy drafts. Hopefully, mid rounds he's there. I think Taylor Hall is going to have a huge fantasy year this year.
Absolutely,
huge fantasy year. Grab him in your mid rounds if he's out there in your fantasy leagues. I think he's going to be a guy that
smart pick.
It's going to get overlooked. A lot of people are going to be like, it's the Blackhawks, they stink, not realizing he's going to be Connor Bedard's shadow. He's going to pick up a lot of free points this year.
Yeah.
All right, so Greg, now that you know what makes an elite goal scorer, I want to tell you a couple things about Wayne Gretzky, just to educate your hockey mind. Wayne Gretzky in his career, rookie year, 51. This is goals for his career. 51, 55, 92, 71, 87, 73, 52, 62, 40, bum, 54, 40, 41, 31.
Is that the strike shortened season?
Yes. In 16 and 45 games, 38, and then as he tapered off, 11, 15, 8.
93 goals.
92
92
That's
goals.
And he's the only
That's the all-time
92
record.
goals,
Yeah.
120 assists.
And he's the only player to ever crack 200 points, I believe.
They did it
Also,
multiple times.
my favorite hockey stat ever. He is hockey's all-time leading goal scorer, so no one has more goals than him. Scorers are measured by goals and assists combined. If you take away every one of Wayne Gretzky's 894 goals, he is still the NHL's all-time leading scorer.
Just by assists.
In points.
He has more assists than anyone has goals and assists combined.
That's insane.
That's why
Yes.
he's the
And
GOAT.
when you come in this city and understand how much Michael Jordan dominated the record books, and you can make the argument that Wayne Gretzky dominated his sport twice as much.
No one's
as
dominated
Michael
like
Jordan.
Gretzky has.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gretzky.
Absolutely.
Because you want to talk about a different era with
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby.
Oh,
I'm assuming it was
yeah. I mean,
much
look,
different with
much
Wayne
different.
Gretzky.
Yeah,
It
when
was much
Gretzky was putting up 92, it was like plumbers in goal, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
But
I even meant towards like a physicality standpoint.
Yeah, the way the game was
Bigger
played.
nets, smaller
they had a
pads.
rule
Yeah.
called the two-line pass where you couldn't pass the puck beyond two lines if from your defensive zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stretch passes were not a thing.
Yeah.
That was a penalty if you did that.
All right, that's 13 minutes for one question. Let's get to the
All right.
next
Hey,
one. I wonder how we made
that's
this
the
last
for-
all
that's
week.
the formula of
when we're going to
Mailbag
be
Monday.
drinking the sweat of Connor Bedard
That's
out of
right.
the Stanley Cup one day. We got to take our time. I appreciate the lesson, though.
Oh yeah.
I just love that Gretzky stat. It's just mind-blowing.
That's
All
one
right,
of my
we got
favorite.
Windy
all-time
City
stats.
Hockey in the chat. He's always in our chats,
Yes,
and
he
we
is.
appreciate
That's a good
his
friend.
support. A diehard. Besides the Stanley Cup wins or winning the draft lottery, what is your favorite Blackhawk moment of all time?
Gosh.
Wow.
That's
All right, that's easy for me. Brent Seabrook eliminating the Red Wings in overtime, Game 7 in 2013.
That was
yeah.
fun.
That might be my favorite Hawks moment ever.
Yeah, it's one of the most memorable for me, especially. Yeah, I would say of non-cup moments, especially for games and stuff like that's definitely one of them. I would say, experiencing Hosa's jersey retirement in person was incredible. Just the entire day, the pregame ceremony in the atrium. The ceremony, before the game, just honoring him during the game and intermissions and everything like that. Like that was really cool. As far as professional experiences with the Blackhawks, like that one I think tops the list. And just as a fan, being a fan of him throughout his playing career, especially in Chicago, and then seeing him get that honor in person was really cool.
Yeah, I think the 2009 Winter Classic at Wrigley Field
That was pretty
was
great.
huge because that was just such a cool day. You're in Wrigley Field on New Year's Day. It's winter. There's hockey being played, but that was such a huge moment for the franchise because that was before any of the Stanley Cups. But that was a day where you're sitting there and you're taking it all in. The Blackhawks are the center of the hockey world that day. They matter again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They matter in this town. They matter throughout the world of hockey. It was such a cool day to be like, wow, this event, like 4 years ago, you couldn't sell out the 100 level for a Hawks game. And here's a jam-packed Wrigley Field, outdoors, on a cold-ass day watching this team. Like, that was, to me, that was the start of the golden era. That was the start of something special.
Yeah,
That's
it was an
knew-
arrival.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like, this franchise means something again. And as somebody who who grew up, with those 80s and early 90s teams that were always so close and then lived through the last years of the Bill Wirtz era where they were just a laughing stock. To experience that in person, so cool.
I will give honorable mention to the 1991 All-Star Game at Chicago Stadium, which I attended. But that was before I was a really diehard hockey fan. That was kind of the gate. That was the door being kicked open for me. But had it happened 2 years later when I was just complete hockey meatball, it would have been way different. But being there, that was like really the first taste of a whole.
Well,
this is the thing.
And that Winter Classic game, that was when the Winter Classic was being used as like, let's showcase this next, generational thinking that the league, along with like, NBC at the time, was trying to do. I think it was that was the second Winter Classic game?
Second one, yeah.
So it was like, okay, the second one you're putting up Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and this young, upstart, exciting Blackhawks team against, Detroit Red Wings, Stanley Cup champions, all the legends that were on that team. And that was the year after they had the first one, which was, a pretty good Sabres team against Sidney Crosby and Stanley Cup champion, Penguins and all that, or soon to be Stanley Cup champions. So yeah, it was like putting the Blackhawks at that time in that game was like front and center. Like, you're going to want to watch this team. And yeah, it was a big moment.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
All right. What we got next?
We got more moments kind of questions here. This is from Darth Kane.
Nice.
And this is to all three of you. Who had the happier moment? A, Greg getting bacon from the Charlie Bacon guy. B, Jay when the Blackhawks signed Samuel Savoy. I'll get these down eventually. And Mario when the Blackhawks won the draft lottery.
I think Mario wins that one. Mario's reaction was gold.
Yeah, that was one for the ages there.
I think we were all happy.
I mean, bacon's great and all.
We were all
Bacon's
happy
great
on
all the
Bacon
time.
Day.
But you don't win the draft lottery every
right.
You should have
every
seen
day.
my reaction when I wasn't here for the bacon. Very upset.
Well, that's
there was
the one day you're not here.
Listen,
You're-
Bacon Day was widely advertised on our CHGO Slack channels. So if you weren't here,
It's like
Only
no-
for myself to
no
blame.
it's like the
sympathies.
only day you haven't been here since you've been hired. You picked that.
Yeah, you're not lying.
Way to go, Braggs.
Yeah, man.
It's all right. We'll get more bacon in here. Charlie's a friend of the program.
Yeah.
We'll,
He's in the chat, so shout out to Charlie.
Yes, I'm looking forward to our first score of pocket bacon.
Pocket
at
bacon.
We got the
United
schedule.
Center.
Yeah.
Pocket bacon schedule's been delivered.
No, yeah.
We did not share that with the public.
No.
We don't need
No.
Charlie getting mobbed like the Beatles.
internal. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the draft lottery reaction, it's funny. Sometimes I'll just go back and watch that video just to like remind myself like, oh yeah, that was reality. And we talked, that was the only thing we talked about up until it actually happened. From the end of the season, basically during the season as it was going on up until the actual night of the lottery, that was the biggest focus that we had. We had tank standings, we had all this stuff.
Yep.
We were on Bedard watch, and getting up to that lottery, and I just remember just the anxiety and stress of just seeing every card flip over one after another. It was just, and you can just see it through all of us. We all got tense, and leading up to that final card flip. But it was just, I think it was a lot of pent up over the last couple of seasons. It's just like a lot of stress and wanting this team to be able to come back and get back to the potential of winning and getting back to the top of the league that we'd been accustomed to for over a decade. And with all the off ice things happening that we talked about extensively and all that, it was just kind of like this just explosion of just like all of that being released and just being like, it all came.
It wasn't
down
just
to the plan coming together.
Yeah, it wasn't just Connor Bedard joining the Blackhawks. And I don't know if people who just see that video virally or whatever understand all that goes into it. For the three of us, it's, okay, we're going to get to cover this awesome player. We're going to get to watch every game this player plays, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
We are now out of the dark ages like that. And a snap of a finger, because even if it was Fantilli or Carlson or somebody else, It wouldn't be quite as immediate with quite the spotlight on it that it's going to have.
Yeah.
It was the relief of not having to deal with the people that were going to flip out because they beat Pittsburgh. Like, there were going to be a lot of people we'd have to deal with that were going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many layers to that reaction. Sure, one of them is awesome. The team we like has this great player, but there was so much more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was a little delayed because I kind of processed it all at once, like, because I didn't want to think about it too much because I didn't want to be disappointed.
Right.
So then when it happened, it was like, oh, my God. And, like, all this stuff is coming to me. I don't know. It was magical.
Yeah.
And I think the video captures it.
It's almost like in Avengers Endgame where Iron Man snaps his finger
Yeah.
and everything changes and everything goes back to being good again.
Yeah.
And
Spoiler.
it was kind of that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
it
Sorry,
really,
guys.
it really does feel like that was like a change moment.
Yeah, I had pre-programmed my brain that they're just going to be third. They're going to be third. I had pre-programmed that from the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I just like, okay. And I was fine that whole day until I sat in this chair next to you. Then I got anxious because you
Yeah.
were just like wired.
Oh, it was not good.
And then when they flipped over, we didn't hear Kevin Weeks say because we didn't have the audio. But when they flipped over
Yeah,
Columbus at
yeah.
3, that's when I was like, this might actually happen. And you had the immediate reaction. My reaction was a little delayed because I was kind of like, wait, what? was that number 1 or number 2?
Right,
Like,
'cause they-
is this for real? Like,
Yeah.
holy crap! Like,
And
it
my
was-
my reaction when the Colts beat the Texans is I humped a bear in this studio, Stephen.
Yeah.
well, there was no bear.
Had there
was
been
no
a bear,
but
it would have
had
been
there- Had
humped.
there been, look
Yeah.
out.
Had there been
There's
any kind of
major humping
mascot,
going
he would have been
on.
humped. It would have been humped.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more before we take our first break. That's a tease. Break coming up. Stay tuned.
I'll let you guys take this one.
Brad.
All right.
Brad says, okay, I have a good one this week, or maybe I was just bored. Here goes. Worst coach, Jeremy Colleton or Alpo Suhonen. Only the old school fans will know the second
This is
name.
an easy
No,
one.
It's
It's Jeremy Colleton.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Alpo Suhonen was a clueless doofus. There was no doubt about that. But compare the two rosters.
Yeah.
Here's I saw this question. Here's the guys that Alpo Suhonen had on his 2000-2001 loan season.
Yeah.
Steve Sullivan, Tony Amante, Michael Nylander, Eric Daze, Alex Jamnoff, Dean McCammon, something called Chris Herberger. I don't remember him. Yaroslav Spacek, Boris Mironov, Bob Probert, Stefan Quintel, Kyle Calder, Pat Foley's favorite player, Alexander Kapatsov, R.I.P., current Blackhawk coach, Kevin Dean, Steve Dubinsky. Should I go on?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, sure, why not? It's all about depth.
Jean-Yves Leroux, Valerie Zelapukin, great name,
Oh,
Ryan Vandenbush, Chris McAlpine, Anders Eriksson, Steve Popst, Steve McCarthy, Redo Van Arks, oh God, Jamie Allison, Blair Atchingham, Joseph Marha, Chris King, Mark Bell, Casey Hankinson,
Sure.
more like Yankinson, Nolan Bumgardner, Aaron Downey, Mark Janssens, Michelle LaRocque, and Robbie Tallis, Steve Passmore, and Jocelyn Thibault were your goalies.
And
now, let's take a look at
correct
that.
me if I'm wrong. That's the year Amani was traded. Was he traded in 2000?
He was an
2001?
off-season trade, I
No,
believe.
because he played. He was second on the team in points. He played all
Okay.
82 games, 64 points. Steve Sullivan led that team with 34
next year.
goals and 41 points. Now, this is
great.
the roster Jeremy Colleton took over. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Alex DeBrincat, Eric Gustafson, Dylan Strome, Brendan Saad, Duncan Keith, Artem Anisimov, Dominic Cahoon, Brent Seabrook, David Kampf, Brendan Perlini, Connor Murphy, and so on and so on. So
With Corey Crawford in net.
with Corey Crawford in net. By far, Jeremy Colleton had he had future Hall of Famers, Seabrook, Keith,
Yeah.
Kane, Taves.
Still a decent, I mean, Seabrook was declining, Keith was declining, but they were still
That was a
way
team
better
that-
than anyone that
Steve-
That was a
Alpo
team that
had.
should have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brent Seabrook, at that point, if he played on that 2000 team, would have been their number one defenseman. Not even close.
Oh, 100%.
Like, so, yeah, Suhonen was a joke. He was one of these out-of-the-box hires, just like Jeremy Colleton was. The difference was the Blackhawks saw that for 1 year and said, nope, we're moving on, where he who should not be named was determined to make Jeremy Colleton a good coach.
And for those that don't know, good old number 8, Steve Popst, sent the Blackhawks his resume, so they signed him. That's a true story. I'm this journeyman defenseman. I'm in my 30s looking for work. Hey, Blackhawks, you need a defenseman? Sure, you're cheap.
Yeah.
Come and play.
Yeah.
And he was
You're
one of their
playing
more
19
effective
minutes.
players. He was. He played well. He couldn't score at all, but he was a decent defender. That's just so typical of the Wirtz era that someone would, like, seriously send a job application for a spot on a hockey team, and they're like, sounds good. You're a top 4 defenseman for us.
Probably had some conversations in those boardrooms like they had in the beginning of Major League, you know.
Yes.
Wish we had that guy. Wish we had this guy 2 years ago. We did. All
Yeah.
right, 4 years ago. This guy's dead.
Yeah, and Steve McCarthy was a good prospect, but just never. He was very Ian Mitchell-y. Like, lots of hype, but just never put it
Steve
together.
McCarthy
to NHL
was
level.
one of the picks from what trade?
Oh boy.
Was it the Chelios trade? I think it was the Chelios trade.
Might be.
I think it was the Chelios trade.
You guys can look that up, and I'll talk about Circle K.
You do that.
Do it. I can't wait. I love these reads because you ask us about food.
Yeah, Circle K. Hey,
Yay.
You can check them out. We are excited to partner with our friends over there at Circle K. You can check out their local locations for the best coffee, beer, snack selection, and premium gas that you're going to find anywhere out there on the road. Look out for freebies and giveaways as well from Circle K. We've talked about our gas station snacks, gas station drinks. We've talked about. Greg, are you yay or nay on the roller grill?
I'm totally down with the roller grill.
Down with it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All day. I mean, you're talking to a former bricklayer.
That's
which is, So when we go to lunch, we stock up.
Yeah.
Roller grill is key.
Oh yeah. I am pro roller grill. You guys not so much.
It depends on the time of day I'm there.
Yeah.
If I'm there at like noon, I'm going to know the stuff is relatively fresh. If I'm there at 2 a.m, hell no.
I've never roller grilled.
But it's always fresh at Circle K.
It's always fresh at Circle K.
That's right.
It's the best selection. Check out Circle K. Thank you to them for sponsoring us here at CHGO. Visit the nearest location to pick up all of your favorite finds. Stock up on your goodies, stock up on your gas, and get you going these long summer drives for your long road trip travels.
And now that you're stocked up on munchies, head over to Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors, whether you're experienced or a novice, are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs, no matter where you are on your cannabis journey. It's got easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and Sunnyside Rewards, their great, transparent loyalty program. The more you buy, the better off you are, my friends. Sunnyside has a great house of brands. I've spoken extensively about Mindy's and Good News. Those are my 2 favorite brands. Cresco, always reliable with the flower. They've got great stuff. High Supply, Floracal, Wonder Wellness Company. They want to make the world of cannabis simple to understand and easy to experience for everyone. The brand's low-dose formulations offered in gummies and mints allow people to control their high, whether it's for microdosing throughout the day or easing into their cannabis experience. And that is perfect for those of you just getting started. Now through August, head to sunnyside.shop. Use the code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. 1 use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. And that's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off their total order. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois MedCard holder. Again, sunnyside.shop, code CHGO25.
All right, just to confirm, Steve McCarthy was one of the draft picks from the Chelios trade. The Chelios trade was for Anders Eriksson and a first-round pick in 1999 and 2001 from the Red Wings. And much like we talked about last week with the Jeremy Roenick trade and how that first-round pick was Ty Jones, who was a bust, Steve McCarthy was the 1999 first-round draft pick. Not great. Even worse was the 2001 pick. Goaltender Adam Monroe, who never played a game in the NHL. So you make these trades, and then when you completely whiff on the draft picks, they make those trades even worse.
Yep, absolutely. That's why it's good to have a GM who knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Weird concept.
or
It helps.
listens to their
Send us
scouting
some
staff.
decrepit old man that just is friends with the owner.
Yeah.
Anyway, not that you can't be an old GM,
Yeah.
but
Lou Lamoriello's still out there.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, well,
It's got nothing to do with age. It has to do with qualification.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in Long Island that want him to go away
It's true.
too.
Yeah. All right. How many more? We got a couple more Discords, right? I think 3 more.
2 more Discords,
All right,
and then we'll get to our headline.
All right,
Love it.
And then we'll
question
call
of
it
the
a day. Yes.
So we got our guy here, Charlie, the bacon guy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Been in our chat.
Talk
And he
about
wants to
bacon.
know, do you know why Rocky's jersey number at his service was number 13?
I don't
No.
think so.
I don't know.
Somebody had asked in our group chat with all the beats and Hawks PR. I don't think there was ever an answer.
Was it 13 years at the helm?
If I'm going to guess, because it looked like it was autographed. There were autographs all over it. My guess is that was probably from the 13 Cup team, and they all autographed it for
Yeah.
him.
That's what I thought.
Oh, maybe they just had it.
That was
my-
just I
that's
don't think
my
it had.
guess is that's
I
the
don't think
one
it
that
had
they-
any specific
Okay.
Yeah.
like. It was just like a really cool jersey to put up there.
No, because he was chairman for 16 years.
He took over what year?
07?
07.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it was made for that. I think it was just probably
was
a jersey he had. In his, maybe it was his favorite jersey
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it was
That's it.
autographed. You could see the names
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
numbers.
right.
So my guess it was the 13 Cup
That makes
team.
sense.
And then since there were so many members of that team there, or maybe it was in his office and they just brought it down. But we
Yeah.
never got official.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any like that was his number or something.
No,
like
I don't
that.
think there was any
I
sub
think-
messaging or anything.
Yeah, I just think my guess was that was hanging up in his office and they just brought it down for the
Yeah.
event.
Easy enough. Yep.
Okay.
Good question, though.
That's my guess.
Final Discord question of the day. Matt Buss.
Matt Buss.
Favorite. Get on the bus. Favorite movie villain.
I mean,
It's Darth Vader.
it's Darth Vader. I don't know how you could have another. And as the years gone on, there was depth added to the character,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, Darth Vader's.
he was scary
Very
as hell
good
as a
one.
kid. From his first appearance on screen, he blasts through those doors and looks over the dead
Yeah.
bodies of the rebels.
Yeah.
Like, announce his presence with authority.
I mean, there's far like he is everything that a villain is supposed to
him
be.
or Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid, who was actually the villain in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be.
or Hans Gruber is on my.
Hans
top
Gruber is pretty good.
He's near the top of my
It's a
list.
detestable human being.
I'd say everyone on Team Iceland in Mighty Ducks 2.
There you go.
That's my favorite.
I love
villain.
movie villains because I'm like the weirdo that roots for the bad guys in movies.
Yeah.
Like, I love a good villain. Like I love a good villain in sports. Like people, maybe it's because of my love for pro wrestling.
Yeah,
I've just always
good
loved
heel.
the bad guys. Like I always liked Ric Flair. Like everybody as kids were like
Shawn Michaels is my
Hulk
guy.
Hogan. I was like, no, Ric Flair's where it's at, man. Like, you know, just something about being a deplorable human being and like not caring. I don't know. I can never pull off being a villain.
No.
Right.
So I guess
So a very underrated one, in my opinion. Are you guys keen on the new trilogy of the Planet of the Apes?
Absolutely.
Like Rise of the Planet of the Apes,
No.
Dawn of the. You haven't seen them.
Are the apes the villains?
One of them in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the second one, is in my top 5 for greatest sci-fi movies
All right.
ever.
Wow.
Okay.
I promise you, you might not like all 3. The second one, they hit a home run.
Do I
And
need
the-
to see the others for it
You
to
got to
make
watch
sense?
the first
Okay.
one to kind of build you up into the second one, and then the third one could have been better, whatever. Second one, as most trilogies, the second one always kills it. And Koba is in the second one, and he is a menace, and the movie is just so well done. Koba's definitely
Koba.
up there for
All right,
me.
I like that.
I'll check it out.
Put it on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good.
A couple people in the chat saying Heath Ledger's Joker.
That was very good.
That was
He's
an
very good.
iconic
Yeah.
one. Bane, also pretty good in the
Hard to understand,
in the
but
Dark
good.
Knight series.
Any villain that feels undefeatable, you know, like every time you think you got on their back,
Yeah.
that kind of is a way to make me really hate them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could dedicate a whole show to this. There's so many, so many good ones.
Terminator.
Terminator, but you know,
But he comes around,
Gla-
right? If because
yeah,
I
the
if,
second,
well,
the second one,
the
he's a
second
good
one
guy.
he's like trying to help.
Yeah.
The villain
Yeah.
in T2 is great though too because he felt unkillable.
Robert
That's the
Patrick,
liquid guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Patrick, whose brother Richard Patrick is the lead singer of Filter.
Oh,
What about the stepdad in Rookie of the Year? He's like,
That's a good one.
your dad is just some guy that left town. What a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
Glinda the Good Witch is another good villain because,
Glenda the Good Witch.
yeah, she's the villain. Never seen Wicked, have you?
I have not.
I mean, she's dropping houses on people's sisters. That's villainous right there.
Yep.
Yeah, but did
She
they
tells it with a
deserve to have
smile.
a house
But we
dropped
only
on them?
heard it from her point of view.
Well, too bad.
Got to see the Wicked. It's from the Wicked Witch's
All
point
right,
of view.
I will see Wicked.
Glinda and Dorothy are the villains of that movie.
All right, let's see. Let's get the super chat from
Super
Thomas.
chat from Tom.
$5 says, "Who is the one player that never played for the Blackhawks, but you wish that did?"
So many.
I always, always believed that someday Brett Hull would play for the Hawks.
Yeah, he might still.
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the one that
that's a good
immediately
one.
comes to mind.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so many guys, Hall of Famers that you could say, I wish they played for him.
Yeah, Mario Lemieux.
Well, I mean, look, we've on this show have advocated for him and for 2 summers as a free agent, and it hasn't come to fruition. But the answer is Phil Kessel. I just want his vibes on the Blackhawks team. I just want to buy a Kessel Blackhawks jersey. That's all I really want. I could get it customized, but I want it to be real. I don't know. That's one that I'll put out there.
Yeah. I mean, the Brett Hull one is a good. I remember in the 90s. I remember in high school I used to work at Rolling Stones Records over on Irving Park Road, and the manager there every year. I know the guy. He had a guy.
Yeah.
I know one of the trainers or something. Brett Hull this year. It's going to happen. We're going to trade for Brett Hull. Every year he said
Yeah,
it,
sure.
and never happened. Brett Hull on the Blackhawks would have been fun.
That would have been great.
It would have been fun. I mean, it was before.
It's too obvious.
It was before the reconciliation of the Hawks and Bobby Hull. It was before the reconciliation of Bobby and Brett Hull. They were estranged for many years. Wonder why. And only recently had gotten back on good terms. So that would have been a good one. I would have loved to see Keith Tkachuk play.
That was another one who
Keith
felt
Tkachuk
like
play for the Hawks.
the kind of guy they would always want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they would have gotten those two guys like at the end of their career.
Now.
Like when Brett Hull played those 6 games for the Arizona Coyotes
Yeah, right.
after the lockout. It was like that would have been when the Hawks got him. And by the way, Brett Hull did play for the Arizona Coyotes. For you Puck Dooku players, it's a great poll.
Yeah, that's a
lot.
good one.
And the Calgary Flames too.
I remember that when I was exploring the Hockey Ultimate Team alumni teams and saw Brett Hull and the Coyotes. Like, oh yeah, that was a thing that happened.
I
Isn't
mean,
it?
they actually tried to get him to play. They didn't just
Yeah,
get
he
his
actually
contract.
played
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
He played like 6 games and said, "No, I'm done."
Jerome McGinley's a good one. Philip
Yeah.
says Zdeno Chara. Lebowski 5 says until Hossa was a Hawk, that was my guy. Yager, of course.
I'm trying to think of like guys that hit the free agent market that would have been the big fish that the Blackhawks never really got though.
That was Brett Hull.
I've been every free agent
Right before
from
Most
he
free
signed in
agents,
Dallas.
yeah,
until
most free
2009.
agents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every free agent
Really?
signed up for it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, what else we got?
Is that it from the Discord?
That's it from the
All right.
Discord.
Thanks
Shout
to
out
our
to our
diehards.
diehards. We appreciate your
Yep. Love it.
contributions. And now we move on to the headline of this show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rainman MP, what kind of season do the Blackhawks need to have for Luke Richardson to get some Jack Adams love? Playoffs or bust?
It depends on what other teams do, but mostly the Jack Adams is looked at as, we thought you guys were going to suck and then you did good. So yeah, if they were to make the playoffs, I think Richardson would at least be a finalist. But I mean, honestly, we joked about it last year, but the coaching job that he did, even though it didn't show up in the wins and losses, was impressive given the roster and given the setting of the team last season. They were built to lose a lot of games on purpose, and he had them, coaching them up into competitive games. They didn't win a lot of them, but they were never out of most games, which I think a lot of people from our perspective were surprised by. So I think that's why we got a lot of confidence from last season to this season in Luke Richardson. So if they make the playoffs this year, I think he's going to get actual real consideration.
I also think with the added spotlight of Connor Bedard on the team, people around the league are going to be watching the Hawks way more closely than they were last year, and they're going to see, oh, this roster isn't great, but this team is hanging in. Like they're close in games. They're competitive. They're playing hard.
Yeah.
And look, when you look at the Central, we have time to get to this, but like, Colorado obviously, Dallas obviously, but
Yeah. Besides that, who are, locks, quote unquote, for the
Winnipeg
playoffs?
took a step back. Nashville's better, but like to what end?
But are
right?
they? Like
No,
they
they just
they
swapped
did a
out
lot of
dudes.
lateral moves.
Yeah, kind of
Swapped
that.
out
I mean,
dudes
better.
for
I
other
think
dudes.
better. I'll say they brought in like better dudes in terms of like locker room fit and try
Sure.
hard.
Maybe.
Maybe the numbers won't be equal,
Allegedly.
but I think the vibes will be better, which does matter a little
It does,
bit.
No.
Sure.
But Minnesota,
Minnesota, St. Louis,
Arizona's better.
Yeah, but and Chicago should be better. So I mean, it's open. That third, fourth, fifth spots of the division are kind of up for grabs, and I don't think there's really a team that you can lock in for sure is going to be. Oh yeah, what do we say? Colorado, Dallas, and then who? I don't think
Right.
there's a team that you can lock in for sure and say it's going to be them. So
Yeah. And the Blues
Who
are always
knows?
kind of a mystery too.
yeah,
Like what are they
they've
gonna
another team that's kind of like laterally moving.
be? Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, if he gets this roster into the playoffs, I think he's gonna get some major consideration. I don't think that's gonna happen, but he still, depending on how they do, he still may get, a third place vote or two. I mean, his name is out there. People took notice last year, and it's
hope
just,
so.
as you said, more people are gonna be watching the Hawks on a national level. They're gonna be on national TV a lot this year, I'm sure, and more people are going to be paying attention because of Connor Bedard. So I think the ball will get rolling, and I definitely wouldn't put it past him getting one at some point. But, it's not going to be this year unless they have the second best record in the league. And that's...
They'd have to really. I mean, if they make the playoffs,
Bedard would have to challenge Gretzky for that 92 goal year.
I think if they make the playoffs,
If they make it like
he's
convincingly,
in the conversation for sure.
yeah. Like if they qualify not as a wild card, I think then you're talking about him being a finalist.
Yeah.
Probably
which
not.
probably won't happen.
I will say
we
though,
probably don't want that to happen at this point either.
yeah, right. Well, going back
I mean,
to
I
like,
wouldn't be mad at it, but
yeah.
Let's
Take our time.
yeah, exactly.
Well, going back to the Elpo and Colton conversations, like regardless of the teams they had, they never inspire confidence from anybody covering them or watching them, or it was like these guys are overmatched, and you knew it right away, right? And there was some hope that maybe there'd be some buy-in on Colton, and because I think that someday, in a better situation, he could be a decent coach. It was just you brought him into this room full of these totally accomplished Hall of Fame, huge personalities, and let's be honest, huge egos,
Sure.
and said, all right, kid, go coach these guys who are all better than you and older than you and all, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It was a horrible situation for him, but he still did nothing to improve
He
himself.
didn't do it. Yeah, he wanted to be I'm smarter than everybody. It's my way or the highway. I'm
Yes.
stubborn. Where even the most casual fan could sit in the stands and go, why isn't he doing this?
Not
And then
working,
finally,
yeah.
3 weeks later, he would make
Right,
the change that everybody's
exactly.
been screaming of. So, yes, he could have done himself some more favors of kind of maybe checking his ego at the door a bit. But
I think he felt, not to rehash the Jeremy Colton area, but I think he felt that if he was to give in and change, then he would completely lose the team. But then he never had him in the first place.
yeah,
Right.
you got to have something in order to lose it.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
Yeah, so I think I would hope he would learn those lessons that if he ever gets another shot at the NHL level to be a little more open-minded and receptive to others' ideas, but we'll see. I don't know if he ever gets that chance, to be honest with you.
And man-to-man defense doesn't really work. You have to have the exact, precise personnel to do it, and they didn't.
No, very few teams do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, who's next?
A statue question here.
Yes.
From our friend Sully.
It's our buddy Sully.
And he asks, I noticed last week the Blackhawk statue across from the UC on Madison has still not returned since being vandalized in 2020. At the time, it was removed for quote-unquote repairs, but it was talked about as if it was to return. Is it just gone?
Yeah, I reached
Not
out
sure.
a question about this, and I've not gotten a response yet.
And he's
That's-
he's talking about the one that was of all the like players.
Even
Yes,
though it wasn't of any actual...
Wasn't
It was
specific players.
Yeah,
but
it was made up
figures of
dudes.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that statue from Jump was a disaster. This was, as you mentioned, back when the team hated Bobby Hull, and they put a Bobby Hull-esque kind of dude on the statue. I don't know if it's... I have no information on this. I asked for it. If I get it, I'll let you know. But my opinion is they were maybe looking for a reason to take it down.
Yeah.
And it just...
You got the Hull and Makita there now.
Yeah. You'll have more
The atrium.
soon.
Yeah, the atrium has got a lot of cool stuff. Like, the
Yeah.
photo opportunities there. Just
It was
there's other.
never a destination.
There will be new statues or some sort of art to commemorate, players and teams and stuff that'll be coming of some sort. So there'll be stuff that'll replace it and be better.
I would love to see what they do in Toronto, where they have the Players Row.
Yeah, that
It's
like
a
Legends
big
Row.
Legends Row. It's like a bronzed hockey bench that goes like half a block long, and every year they add another player.
Oh,
Like,
that's a great
sometimes
idea.
a guy looks like he's jumping over the boards, another guy will look. So eventually they'll have their full team of legends in statue
That's
form.
awesome.
It's
That's
really
cool.
cool. I would
Yeah.
love to see something like that. Just don't think they have the space for that. And that
No.
statue was always an afterthought. It was always of like, as you're walking up or leaving the United Center, and you go,
You're
oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
that thing's there.
Right,
Yeah, I
yeah.
forgot
Yeah.
about that. Like, that thing's silly.
So if you forget, it was October of 2020. A lot was going on then, social justice-wise. The logo that is the top of the statue was covered in red paint. The words "Land Back" were spray painted on the list of players. There was some graffiti on the sidewalk that said "Get Wirtz off board," and then of course there was other stuff that had nothing to do with anything. But it's been removed since then and has not been back.
Yeah.
Decolonize Chicago is another thing it said. So there were a lot of things around and on the statue, and they removed the whole thing, and it has not been back since. So we'll see. It feels like it's not coming
I
back.
wouldn't
but
imagine they're saving it to put it back out there. I imagine.
You put it in the
I
United
think
Center if you want
something. I think if anything's going to be in the spot that it was, it'll be something new.
Yeah, maybe something for the 100th annivery coming up in
Yeah.
a couple of years.
Yeah.
So kind of staying with this topic, Chad Campbell asks from our questions here, does Rocky's passing affect the internal discussion on potentially changing the logo someday? I'm assuming Rocky was a firm no on changing it. Do you know Danny's take?
This is going to be something we have to address a lot until we have word from Danny on it. And I think the easiest way to say is that the entire thing is fluid. I don't know for a fact that Rocky was a hard no. I have never heard that officially. I don't think Danny's a hard no. I think they are constantly evaluating the status of the logo. Constantly. So could it change someday? Yes. As of now, is that the plan? Not that I know of.
No.
I know we have been accused of talking around it or hiding information we have. We're not. I think it is incredibly fluid. And over time, opinions can change one way or the other. But as of now, there is no plan to change it in the near future.
Well, if they did, let me just say that the CHGO Blackhawks logos are free. Not free, of course.
They are not free. No.
Not free to
No.
use, but we are welcome to allow them. If
After
the
the
price
check
is
clears.
right after
Yeah,
the
we
check
are
clears,
open to
to let
discussions.
them be, use our logo here.
They can
'Cause
buy it from
the
us.
CHGO
So if you
Blackhawks
zero.
logos across the board are great.
Yeah.
Just put me and Greg's and Mario's faces on your
Yeah,
jerseys.
like the
Yeah.
Pep Boys ad.
yeah, our profiles.
Yeah, like Pep
Like
Boys.
the Pep Boys.
Home road and alternate.
Yeah.
Just the side of our faces.
Yeah, that'll work.
Get both
Yeah.
my chins in there. It'd be great.
Brandon Spano's taking a private jet immediately here after I just gave away the logo for free.
Yeah. No,
No,
not
I
at
think the Hawks are more concerned about continuing their work within the Native American community and all the work they do with directly with the tribes. They're more concerned about doing that than tinkering or not tinkering with the logo. If it happens, like, they don't know. There's no plan. That at least the we don't know of. And
Yeah.
I think there's bigger fish to fry in that within the organization than the logo. But that could change tomorrow. That can change in a week. Who knows?
Well,
There's no
I'm glad
definite
you said
no or
that.
yes.
I'm glad you said that because the work we're doing within the Native American community is not just for show.
No.
They're not doing it to appease people. It is real. It is impactful. They're actually helping. They're actually giving money. They're actually dedicating resources. They're putting their money where their mouth is. And I do know for a fact that the Native Americans that they speak with, the logo is not their concern. Native American peoples have a lot more to deal with than a logo on a hockey jersey.
Yes, that is so low on their priority of things that they need to be worried about.
Correct.
So and that's I think the logo changing has now become the what do the Blackhawks have to do to get the 9th pick from the Vancouver Canucks question on Monday. It's just going to keep coming. And
look, we know people don't listen to every episode, so we'll address it. But there's really just nothing to report as of now.
Right.
No.
Okay, moving off of that and moving back into the mailbox, Ovi Clapbomb asks, it's not a question, but I would love to see you guys rank all the playoff series from 2010, 2013, and 2015. Rank all of them. No, I'm kidding. I'm curious which ones would be on top.
That sounds like a
Anaheim
fun
in
written
2015.
project. Maybe I'll do that.
Do a whole episode for Avi Clapbomb?
We could do.
He's going to need to throw a few $10 super chats.
a couple
if he wants
super
all
chats.
that.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. We'll be doing some ranking things coming up in the next near future here, but yeah, I mean, there's so many that to go from. Obviously, with them being the Stanley Cup years, there's 12 series if my math is correct. Yep, 12.
I think the idea of the 2015 Anaheim series, that was, in my mind, the most stressful.
Yeah.
Because it felt real close. Felt you can go either way. It was really intense, very evenly matched. That was very, very stressful to watch.
Yeah.
I hated that series.
Of a series that they won, that one was probably the most stressful. The 2014 conference final against the Kings would be the most stressful that they came up on the losing end of, just because of the stakes and the way the games played out. The two teams that those were so stacked teams. I mean, there's tons of really good ones. How about this? We'll do of the 3 Cup final series. What are your 3, 2, 1s?
All right.
I'd say number 3 for me would be the Tampa series, and I think 2 is. I think for me 2 is 2010, even though it was the first of the 3 and it ended in dramatic fashion. I think for me the dramatic ending of the Boston series was more of a crazy ending, because we've seen overtime goals in the Stanley Cup final before. Never seen something like 17 seconds to end a series. So I think for me, that's why the Boston series is my favorite.
I agree with that order.
Yeah, if I had to go 3, 2, 1, just not putting a ton of research, just thinking top of my head, third would probably be that 2010 series against the Canucks, just because.
No, I'm saying just of the Cup finals. What are your 3, 2, 1?
Okay, of the Cup finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with your rankings. Well, I may flip flop 2010. Boston, 2013 is number 1.
Yeah.
I might flip flop and put Tampa at number 2, just because it was done at home. And being in the building and having that celebration on home ice, something you hadn't had. And, had in hindsight, there were a lot of people in that building from like the Blackhawks Twitter sphere and, season ticket holders I knew. And it was kind of like, I wish we would have known that was the last hurrah.
Last one.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it some more. So I would go 2013 run, 2015 to 2010 3. I mean, all by the slimmest of margins.
Right, it's hard.
Yeah.
Hard to say any.
2010 was a lot more. Going back and I watched that DVD ahead of one of our summer shows, and boy, that series was a lot more stressful than I remember. And actually, they had the game 6 was on NHL Network the other night, and I just happened to turn it on as overtime started.
Yeah.
And Addie was right next to me. I'm like, this is 2 weeks after you were born. Like, do you have any idea? She's like, well, I know they win. I go, watch how they win.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, I didn't know. You know, she was kind of like reliving that whole thing was crazy.
Yeah.
Poor Doc Emmerich. It's like,
Well, he got his redo.
yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
That was
Yes, he
good.
did.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more before we wrap things up, and we'll get to the rest of them on tomorrow's show.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're hitting that like button for us.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody
Smash it.
hanging out with
Hit
us.
it with a brick.
Hit it with a brick all day long. And yeah, so a final one. I'm trying to come up with a fun one because you got some saved for tomorrow.
All right.
But with the Cubs getting hot,
Oh, Cubs getting hot.
the summer of Mike Tauchman, who on the Blackhawks or someone on the Ice Hawks being called up to the Hawks would have a season like the summer of Mike Tauchman's season we're having?
That's a good
Interesting.
question.
So unexpected success, either from a call-up or a lesser roster player.
Lower tier player.
My first instinct is Phil Kurashev.
I wouldn't put him in that category because he's been here for a couple
He's
years.
been around for a bit. And the expectation is, hey, have a good season,
Yeah.
you know, for once.
In that kind of category, like coming out of nowhere, the first guy I think of is Cole Gutman.
Yeah, I thought about Gutman.
The winter
too.
of Gutman.
Yeah.
That just sounds good.
The winter of Gutman.
Winter
Yeah,
of Gutman is coming.
But that's a guy that you don't think, he's a peripheral type
Don't
player.
expect much.
Especially with the additions that they made this offseason, and he may not even start the season here. And he could be a guy. We saw glimpses of him last year where you're like, hey, they might have something here.
Yeah, he was good.
Either that or, maybe it's.
Talkman's local, right?
Yeah, he's from Palatine. So
I'm gonna say David Gust.
there you go. Bring him back.
I'm gonna say David Gust makes one final hurrah run in the NHL.
There you go.
I hope so. He's a good dude. I like him.
Just for the fun of the question.
Winter of Gutman. Get
Winter of
the
Gutman.
presses rolling.
Yeah.
Let's get that shirt.
Well, too, and Cole Gutman has his first hat trick. Foco is going to make a Cole Gutman hat trick bobblehead
absolutely.
that you'll be able to get at
gut
foco.com,
punch.
just like our Hayden Wisniewski Immaculate Inning bobblehead.
Yeah.
The
That
gut
is
trick.
looking great in our studio here. It's not just bobbleheads at Foco, though. You can get fitted out in the best sports gear around. Hoodies, shoes, signs, banana hammocks, and everything in between. It's baseball season. For one team, anyway. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need to attend a game in person. I mentioned our set decorations. Foco has donated a bunch of awesome pieces for our sets, so go to foco.com and show them some love. Check out foco.com or click the link in our description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. Again, that is foco.com, FOCO.com.
And while you're walking around in your great officially licensed Spurch from Foco, get yourself a sweet pair of sunglasses to accessorize and top off your great outfit. And that's where Shady Rays comes in, because you can take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at a very affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good, I say even better, than any expensive pair we've ever worn. Their durable frames and extremely clear optics are perfect for any and all outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. So if you're joining us this Friday at our very first golf out in the CHGO Kickoff Classic and you lose your pair in a water hazard, or Jay forgets to say 4 and takes your sunglasses out with a drive right between the eyes.
That
It may
might actually happen.
That might happen.
Hopefully, Shady Rays is your only concern of that.
Well, they'll absorb the energy from the golf
that's
ball
true.
and
They
save
are
your
durable.
face.
That is not a guarantee.
Anywho, no matter how you break or lose your pair of sunglasses, Shady Rays is going to send you a brand new pair, no question. They don't care how you broke or lost them.
No, they
They're
don't.
just going to replace them, and they replace them
No questions asked.
quickly. Within a couple of days, you'll get your brand new pair. And together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. They're doing everything from building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but trust me, you're going to. So we really don't even need to read this part, but I got to do it anyway. If you don't love your Shady Rays, if you're a complete weirdo, you don't like them, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's absolutely no risk when you shop. And exclusively for our listeners, only for you guys and nobody else, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of all the times. Go to Shady Rays and use the promo code CHGO.com or CHGO. I'm going to start that over. Go to ShadyRays.com and use the promo code CHGO for 50% off all orders, including 2 or more pairs of their shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Yes, sir. All right. We're going to wrap things up. We will wrap up your mailbag questions on tomorrow's show, but lots of hockey funness to come in the days and weeks ahead. We are almost out of August, which means we're almost to September, which means we're almost to hockey.
Yep.
We've almost made it, people.
Almost.
Almost.
This time, 1 month from now, we will be opening training camp.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. It's going to be an awesome time. Thanks to Greg Braggs for running the show today. We appreciate you, buddy. I know the mailbag shows are always a challenge as we got to create all the graphics for every question. So thank you, Greg. And we'll be back tomorrow, too, on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.